Barigani, how we doing today, family? I'm so excited. Third day of this Black History Month, what we're doing. Even though we celebrate 25/8/366, we're going to give it to you just a little bit extra for this time. I've never been a part of a Black History program, Black History celebration, without celebrating the man, the good doctor, the good Reverend Doctor, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and rightfully so. He's a freedom fighter who's worthy of our veneration, of our earthly reverence. He is a powerful man, a martyr who literally gave the ultimate sacrifice, who gave his life fighting for people, and not just a certain people with a color skin. He wanted to fight for the level of humanity, for those who've been oppressed. Sometimes his story is distorted. And what I want you to think about is this. When you think of Martin Luther King, I want you to think about all of the other leaders. And I want you also to think about some of the other names that are forgotten by the annals of history. I want you to think about some of the other people who walked with King, or the people who were among the thrones and the crowds that was with King, but don't get noticed. Because I think every time we do King and we say a King Day celebration, we say a King Day memorial, we really are paying homage to all of the other people who worked with him. However, I think it's time that they get some recognition too. So a lot of people know that it was Martin Luther King who would go to the White House. He would talk with Kennedy. He would talk with Johnson. He would talk with a lot of people. But, there's a lot of other people inside of that. They called it the Big Six. So you had John Lewis, and a lot of people know him because the beautiful elder just went to rest with the ancestors not too long ago. He had a life of service. Unfortunately known for what happened to him on Bloody Sunday, but kept going and served his whole life. There was James Farmer, there was Whitney Young, there was A. Philip Randolph, there was Roy Wilkins. And when you think about all of the different organizations that they represented, when you think about all of the people that they had behind them, they were just as powerful as Martin Luther King in their sects, in their communities. But you say, hey, we knew about the Big Six. I thought you were giving us some new things that we hadn't discovered. Well, let me give you some things that maybe you know, maybe some of you don't. Do you know that the Big Six originally had a woman by the name of Dorothy Height? But because of the misogynistic culture that we live in, she was removed. And sometimes they would only call it the Big Four because they would take Dorothy Height off and John Lewis because of ageism, saying he was too young. But Dorothy Height was a powerful lady inside of the movement that without her and other women like Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer, there was a lot of things that would not have been accomplished. There was a lot of things that would not have gone our way without the contribution of so many beautiful women. But also what I want you to think about is sometimes we talk about the Big Six, but how many times do we talk about Adam Clayton Powell? He represented not only New York, but he represented a faction of great people from his church constituency all the way to Washington, passing multiple bills and laws that was the prelude for some of the things to come. You think about the work of Malcolm X. You think about the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You say, well, these are names that I know too. These are names that was good. But how can you say the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad without saying Timothy Drew, who some of you may know better as Noble Drew Ali, who was the first black man to really bring the black man aside and say, from a nationality standpoint, hey, we need to go back to our roots. We need to go back to our own religion. We need to recognize that we are our own nationality and pull away from these oppressors and colonizers and anybody who is affiliated specifically with like the Nation of Islam, with the 5%ers. They will give a lot of credit to the Noble Drew Ali for being one of those men who was able to galvanize a sect of people and help them to recognize, I am a man. I am powerful. I am something special. And so what I want you to think about is this in today's lesson. It's not about just the name of Dr. Martin Luther King. And when we talk about Martin Luther King, let's just talk about him in partiality, but let's talk about him from the evolution from a 26-year-old to a 39-year-old. Because all of those people who we named, we talked about Martin Luther King. We talked about Adam Clayton Powell. We talked about Malcolm X. We talked about Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, guess what? King met with all of those. But let me tell you, this is the richest part of what today is. There was another Big Six. And that other Big Six came from a meeting that Dr. King met with. And that was with Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first person once Ghana was removed as colonization from British rule, who became the leader of Ghana on March 6, 1957, the first sub-Saharan African country, to be able to have its independence. And guess where our Big Six that we talked about before from America came from? It came from the Big Six of Ghana. So you had Kwame Nkrumah, you had Dr. J.B. Dankwa, you had Akua Adaj, you had Obatashi Lapatami, Edward Akufo Adolfo, William Ofori Atta. And so when we think about this, we say, wow, how many other people are there in history? Well, this is the beautiful thing. KRS-One used to say, let's go to the library where they bury the lies. But the beautiful thing about this is if you are really a critical thinker, somebody can give you a half a truth thinking you won't dig for the rest. But once they give you that piece of information, you keep going down and down and down. And why do I speak about Kwame Nkrumah? Because in March of 1957, when Ghana did recognize that, hey, we are a sovereign nation, you know who was there? Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. In 1957, he's seeing this. And you know what he's saying? How are we linking all of our people together? So you know when Dr. King was finally assassinated in April 4th, 1968, it wasn't because of his beautiful I Have a Dream speech in 1963. It's because he was meeting with the likes of Elijah Muhammad, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X before his death, along with the Lyndon Johnsons and President John F. Kennedy before his assassination. They said, oh, he's becoming dangerous. So when you can have the American government put its full power as it relates to the Federal Bureau of Investigation with J. Edgar Hoover to say he is what? The most dangerous man. He was the Black Messiah that they all fear. Oh, I want you to recognize we need to respect Martin Luther King, but not only respect him, but let's dig deeper and look at all of the people who influenced him, all of the people who had ideologies that sometimes they don't want you to see and want you to compare to. So when we say Martin Luther King and we look at him, let us look at the Big Six. Let us look at the forgotten women of the movement. Let us look at people from different various religion factions. And let's look at people from different parts of the world that Martin Luther King Jr. was coming together to what? To make a beautiful world for all of us. So as we talk about celebrating Black History Month, let us not just celebrate the same names over and over and over without going deeper into learning who that person was, but also learning who their affiliates was. Because if you truly want to know who a person is, look at who they surround themselves with. So I'm going to ask you as your action item, as we not just do a sit and get, but we talk about how am I going to be better? I want you to ask yourself, look at your circle around you. Is it evolving? Is it growing? Is it taking you? Is it taking our world, our people, our nation to the place where it needs to go? If not, I'm going to tell you to adjust that circle. Because as you saw with Martin Luther King Jr., he met with a lot of different people who history won't tell you about. So go to the library and dig out those lies. Hey, this is the Blacksmith, Dr. Kwaku Achafi. I got none but love for you people. We'll be back tomorrow with another beautiful episode. Tune in, share it, spread the word. None but love.